the autographs happening in here.
In here.
So we need to set up, what we can do is set up those tables.
Cause
Right, so there's a table
before I
here.
settled,
There's a table right there.
before I settled
Just
on
put
a
those out, put
Mantis
those here.
YouTuber, I was actually a
Yeah.
moth YouTuber.
Because there's not a lot of us, so.
Just when I thought the weather was actually
Have you
gonna be
ever
better,
heard
well,
of the
I don't know.
Are we watching the
It
movie on
comes
this?
from a very
movie?
autistic,
I
very
thought it was gonna be
medium or ace.
Where?
I thought it was gonna be in the third or the top floor.
Oh,
Is
this is-
partially like
I'm sorry,
they grow
I meant to say the
organic
fourth floor.
components, including their brain.
Uh-huh.
So they are very much AI and very much human at the same time.
Yes.
And
That's right.
the thing about outsiders wanting to get better, be less autistic, be less ace, be less this, that, be more normal.
Yeah, big one.
It speaks very much
It's just
to
fun. I try to get
the wanting to be accepted but not wanting to change.
Crappy food.
And it
Right.
seems that they, as a
And
murder
hopefully this time,
did
I'm
exactly
gonna get you to
everything
the top
right.
floor.
They were controlled. And if I remember right,
Guys,
by the
because
combination of the
we-
chance split.
Last year we told
and
you you
their
wanted
own will
the colored
to
popcorn,
create
that was for the
stuff,
cherry auction,
they
I'm like, look,
override
after
this,
we
they
make sure you're
override
okay,
their
or
other
we'll scour the entire corn lot,
Uh,
looking for the popcorn you want.
Escape, and now it's like 5 short books later, which I adore,
Look at how
because they're
cute
short
she
in a
is.
autistic kind of bad behaving way, if that makes sense.
I know that. What is her name?
So this, even though I haven't made it sound apparently as it's not about
It's a me plus you.
It's
Yeah.
not
I
about,
always get it when that's my.
while it does have like conflict and fighting and all that, it's not about that.
She's great.
It is
It was a
about
lot for me, like.
an ace
Nice.
autistic experience.
Oh my God.
Ace
Because I went to buy, I
autistic,
said, hang on to that, I want
agender
that. She had a
experience.
bunch
They're
of
non-gender,
things in it.
non-human,
And, I said,
not
she-
a computer.
And I go on the
It is
last day, and
currently one of
she
my
was some
favorite
story, somebody bought.
So
Is that, you said it's a book series, or?
Yeah, yeah.
I said,
What is it? The murder
And then
bot
on
diary.
closing ceremonies.
Cause my kiddo is ace at polygender.
Ace and Polly?
I don't know.
That's so good.
So I think they would,
She said, you changed my life.
they would very much
She
enjoy
gave
it.
me, and I thought it was the one she bought, I said, I'm not gonna take your plushie.
By the way, unless you tell me that you don't like fantasy stuff, I will show you the insane amount of pieces.
So she.
Is that a cat?
Yes, in their sound, I'm just not playing it because I'm
No, those are
popular.
not cheap.
But Tumblr is the most intensely amazing place.
She was like.
Tumblr is the only bad one the only, so this is about both Superman and Batman. One of them is having a wedding and doesn't know the other one's coming. Batman is with Catwoman right now, and Superman is
Yeah, I
with
mean,
Batman.
I think we're gonna be spending the first
They
part
are
of
having
today,
a conversation with their
first half of today's
partners
schedule in here with the,
about how they had no choice.
feelings forum and the,
They had all of
and
the
then after that,
They had no choice.
the nice free forever mail if you want
But
to
the
go
other
to.
person,
Yeah,
they had.
well, we've gotta figure out,
They were wrecked.
we've gotta
by
figure out when
all
we're gonna go
reasonable
to
means,
the
both
fair.
saying about
There's
the-
a-
Shoot, that's right, I forgot. We also have, we also have this, we,
We're getting on this going skating, I think that's.
Superman.
right, we,
Can you imagine?
Yes, let's
Like,
do it.
on my hands, and just
oh shoot, I really just
This
remembered.
took me like 5
It was
minutes.
this, the art session, and then we had the sponsor dinner at, for,
That's not
even
yeah.
that
But
complicated.
tomorrow and
It's
Sunday,
just
what's
the
happening Sunday?
combination.
Sunday,
Have you seen this?
we'll think it's got one for you.
There's so
Tomorrow
much.
there's the tea party.
If you're.
Yes, Saturday is the tea party. That is gonna be in the first floor next to the registration desk.
Yes.
Yeah, funding is,
There's so much stuff like
in
that.
here,
That
wait,
combined
let's see
with
here.
the occasional cute thing.
Rick and I are,
slightly
like,
zoom thing.
Rick and I have
I-
panel at like 2 different
I like
places.
crying
Rick's got a
so
panel
like
here
an
for
hour.
the, Cat's 29th appreciation panel. I have 25,000 bid here.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I did Tumblr
Basically,
a long time ago.
if you've seen the $25,000 pyramid,
Yes.
it's that.
Okay, so you need
I'm
to
glad
have,
that.
you need to have answers.
Dory, I already have made up.
Oh,
Really?
Yep, and actually I think Blue is like helping come up with category titles.
Yeah.
You hear what the titles, you don't know what any of the ones
Well,
they exist for
for a
the
very
so sorry.
categories are.
Right.
When can we kind of figure out the schedule when we might be able to go skating?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, I have no idea what's going on after the sponsor dinner.
Because I think Saturday is not bad.
Yeah, Saturday, all you have is a sense of community in an individualistic world.
When is that?
That's the third room from 9 to 10:30.
Okay, what is happening in the morning? Have they met?
And I just get down, watch and try stuff. Well,
All right.
I'm just as shocked as you are, that was constant messy.
I just had a breakdown, I looked at the content, I'm like, who in their right mind starts?
Do you need food?
Have you been openly
No,
trained
thank
for
God, because my stomach doesn't even wake up.
Right. I mean,
We're
I
in
feel just shock resistant, like right now I'm
hyper
Christian
Christian,
coffees and my bowels are
Catholic,
like, are you?
not evil about it, but also very much.
But what I wanna do is I wanna go bowling,
Yeah, well,
I wanna go to the.
yeah,
beach,
the-
I wanna
that's
go
what it's
skate,
weird,
so I thought I'd take a bunch of
I
feel
photos
like
with
back
that.
in
well, I know this place called Alley Oops.
How far?
I don't remember how far it is, sorry.
There's a bowling alley straight down.
Oh, okay.
Just the only word was, the one
There's
thing.
also-
You'd be better, you would also be better with
Ah.
putts, better.
Does it end with an E sound?
Putt putts, there's like,
Mini
there's,
golf?
yeah,
The
there's,
mini
oh,
golf.
yeah, mini golf, there's
Mini golf.
one over on this side, and there's like
Yeah,
one that has
there's
two courses.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we gotta go to the
That was
fair
the one
because there's all kinds of
after it.
bowls.
Okay.
And I thought, we
I always felt like it was more social.
just got a couple of eyes, I just went out a couple
My
of
dad
eyes,
was
just spent really jobs.
And he didn't even want to, like, midway there, like, definitely a beach vibe, it's right on the pier,
So.
so.
Yeah.
You got bowling alleys everywhere,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you
Even
can
know
do that
about
in Toronto. Like, I'll show you
Have
guys.
you ever heard of it?
I'll show
And
you
you know what
Toronto.
else has a.
Robin
And
Williams
I
is
say
very
it's
significant
in
for me. And it seems this is one where.
Where's Brian?
Is
Is he coming?
No, it's just checking on you here, and then I'm kind of.
No, I just sent him a text that said, do one and Rob and get the hell off.
I will get it.
By today's standards, but.
Oh, that's
the
the-
Not
oh.
paying for the time it came out.
Yeah, basically,
Fans of his
this was supposed to be
have
forward
never-
progress, forward progress because I believe because of his mother, that this ended up becoming the Phillips Forum instead.
The feelings forum is,
You guys could easily switch feelings form with the Tales of Keeping Friends with Magic, as long, if everything's okay with forward.
that's what we're doing. We're doing
Tales of Keeping Friendship Magic.
Keeping Friendship Magic, which was forwards, which was now, we're turning into the feelings forum, right?
I'll see you both.
And then the feelings form is getting turned into Tales.
But the
We
feelings
were
forum.
just gonna have two fields.
Yeah, listen, the thing
Oh,
about
okay.
the feelings forum is,
See,
it's the episode I was in, I was the feelings forum leader in the show.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, so it's like, we had talked a couple of years ago, I said, you know, it's like, feelings forum is like, I'm the one, you know, that's the character I play, Tipple is one of the characters that I play. But what they talk about, and I think it's really important, particularly for ponies and everyone, you know, seriously, is that we don't express our feelings and we don't feel authenticated by our feelings and we tend to swallow our feelings. And we don't, allow ourselves to express ourselves in
Right.
community. We will sit quietly and wait to, you know, basically share with others. And it's in the sharing because communication is the human connection.
Yes.
That's where we as ponies come together and say, your feelings are validated. You're allowed to feel what you feel.
Exactly.
And if you feel threatened or fearful or angry or dismissed or whatever you're going through, shame or blame or all of that stuff, it's a resistance. It's a resistance that will cause this in front of your ego. And when there's resistance in front of you, you cannot be successful. You will not be successful in your life because you're actually sitting on all of this stuff. And the thing about a feelings forum says, you are allowed to share whatever you feel in a safe space without feeling like, oh, I'm going to be judged or. And what I tend to like to do is I like to go around and I say, you know, what's your name? Where are you from? Talk about yourself a little bit. And then talk about what conventions have done for you. Is it your first convention? Have you been to any other conventions? What does SequestriaFest Magic or even the new season, the new episodes and everything going into a different generation? Because some people are brand new. Every pony is here in a different place, just like people in life, they have different experiences. start saying, this is what communities do, this is what friendships are, this is how it's held. And the reason forward is so great as being a great co-host on the panel is that forward can talk about his, and he's the first to say at a convention is where he literally releases some of his darker moments. Like we all have little monsters, and they're about self-worth. It literally comes down to, loving yourself. You can't love anybody else when we have fear and shame. Stuff about ourselves. It is something else, but it really comes down to that. So it's unfortunate that he is not here, because I feel like he's one of the best testaments to what community can do with the opportunity to share that.
I guess there are other things like this, like furry conventions and whatnot, but this is very special to me because I'm one of those very weird people that even though I have a very active memory, like my first memory of school is being in a male locker room and wishing I had been born female because I do not feel like I belong here. I do not feel like I'm the same species as these things. But because of how I was raised, I never viewed myself as LGBT or queer or anything like that. It wasn't even an option in my head.
No, because you've been institutionalized by the system.
LGBT conventions, trans conventions and whatnot, the people that benefit the most from them are cishet. Because the only reason for most people they're cishet is because they weren't raised with any other conscious option.
That's right.
Right now I'm trans-ace. And
Explain that for people.
she said to explain it, right?
Yeah.
Trans as in I don't identify with the gender I was assigned, and ace as in asexual. I'm not attracted to anyone. I might be in the future, and I was at least once in the past, but there isn't anyone I'm attracted to, so I'm ace.
And guess what? The future and the past is happening right now.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for pony conventions, I might be a redneck. I might be a bigger redneck. I don't know. This was my avenue into the acceptance of an LGBT convention or a trans convention. And it allowed me to remember how I felt about my own place in the world in a way that I could not possibly have noticed.
And in coming to your first, second, third, I don't know how many conventions.
Since the second row.
Okay, so a lot, right? You've actually grown as a being towards yourself. Because in allowing yourself to express yourself the way you literally have felt since you said you were a child.
Yeah.
In a system that goes, well, no, that's, and you realize, wait a minute, I'm not like the other.
Yeah, and it took all of the Burlington conventions and last year, the first year of this convention, from me going from a place of accepting other people and accepting that I am a weird person that wished I had been born female to just this past
There's
year.
nothing weird about that.
Yeah.
That's the language where when we communicate, I know I'm weird. And, I've been that queer person my entire existence, which is why I was physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually abused as a child. And medicated and made to fit into exactly what we talk about. The mold that is like, you've got to be this kind of person to be an acceptable person. And then all of a sudden, with all of it, with all of the abuse, I didn't, for whatever reason, I am what I am, said Raphael. But you know what I mean? What happens is, you eventually get to a place, and I feel, when I found my little home, it was like I found my people, and I call them my bones. I go, I literally feel like, this is it. This is it. And I can't explain it to my friends, because they see pictures and go, what the hell is going on there? And they'll do a mocky thing, and they'll say, have an attitude and whatever. And I go, I love everything about what this world represents, because I truly believe what the entire world needs, but they're so terrified of what it allows for individuals to liberate and authenticate themselves, that they want to get rid of it. We're just, Rose and I were talking about this last time, about, certain people who just want to destroy this love. It's just, no pony left behind. You see a pony in the hallway who might be, singular and alone, and you say, hey, do you wanna come and join us? And they're like, me? And then all of a sudden you see them change. It's like you're included. You're included. You are a part of this, right?
Yeah, and one thing that I think is important, because this isn't year one, I don't think for many of us, this is the first convention we've ever been to.
Right.
Last year changed me, like the year before. This is the first year I've been comfortable going by female pronouns.
Good.
Very first year. Last
And
year.
this helped you.
Yeah, and I will change this year.
Of course
Every
you will.
year for like the past 5 years, I didn't really feel like coming. I preferred to stay, and I didn't feel like forcing myself to be that social. But every year has changed me.
Wow.
And if I hadn't come
Yeah.
last year, become friends with Rose,
Yeah.
whether or not we remember what we talked about, last year changed me. And
Yay.
yeah,
I
every
remember
year
you
matters.
from last year. I remember you from last year.
Yes,
Oh, fantastic.
Yay, hugs are free. Hugs are free.
Yeah, we sat next
Right? And
to
I
each
mean,
other.
if we can change one person's fear into magic baseball, one person's kind of confusion, where you sit and I don't know, and then we have to try to be that other thing, which just makes you feel worse.
yes, like most people who go through stuff, they're like with me, I'm kind of used to not being around people, because with people, I've had bad experiences. Last year, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here, and people were like, hey, Blue, come on, sit here. It felt really nice.
Well,
Especially after 2 years
I
of
remember
being-
you last year and you were
Yes, I was.
because of you didn't love yourself in the right way.
I
And
was-
it was like, you're gonna be fabulous, and I'm gonna come, and you couldn't believe that, and you were like, you came, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I came, of course I came, I said I was gonna come.
Yeah.
And then it was like you had such a good time, there's this validation, this, I'm getting goosebumps right now, because when I get goosebumps, this is real, and I'm feeling it right now, and I can feel the spirit, and I can feel that it's like, you are worthy. Every single pony here is glorious, is magical, is an alchemist, is a genius, is a wizard, is a wizardess, powerful beyond belief and glorious. And when we believe that together, we change the world, we change the vibration. And, you get excited, you go, yeah, we're okay. Like, I feel okay. Wow, it was like rising all in my neck. Because it just makes me want to cry. Because it's that release where I go,
Yes.
I feel alive. I actually feel alive. I don't feel locked in a little box where I'm like, stop it, be this, do this, and my own shame and my own stuff goes, I
You just
go,
feel like a
I'm free, I feel great, I feel good, I feel happy. I feel like, oh gosh, I don't want this to end. It doesn't end. It
No.
doesn't end, my bones. It doesn't end just because you're not at a convention. But when you come to the convention, it is a gentle or explosive reminder, depending on whatever, your experience is. And you are fucking magic. Big ball.
Big ball.
Right? And I'm sure you have experienced it.
Yeah.
Tell us your story.
I mean, because I was gonna say that, but before that, you were saying about living life in fear over. In the words of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. And yet people continue to live in fear, because people are afraid of the unknown.
Yeah.
Because like for example, there are so many fandoms out there of things that people would perceive as made for kids, and yet they have a massive adult following. Like, no one bats an eye
Because guess why?
Why?
Because adults, their inner child is suffocated. Their inner child has been smacked, grabbed, thrown, beaten, pushed into a thing, and they remember it. And that child doesn't go away. That child needs this liberation. Children laugh 400 times a day, and we laugh 12 to 15 times a day, usually at the expense of someone else. That's not okay. We need allow our child to be present. Yes, we can have our adolescent who's belligerent, fuck you, and, you know, I don't want it. And the adult can be here who's responsible as well, who takes care of us and pays our bills and all of that.
Right.
But our child is the one who is creative and wondrous, and we go, I can't allow that. Why do you think we wear to get into cosplay and go on scooters and throw sparkle? Do you think that's an adult doing that? No, that is my child going, yay, ponies! Yay, glitter! Yay, my pride flags of rainbow colors! Because the child doesn't judge. The child doesn't get it. The child says everybody's perfect just the way they are. So if we can awaken our child and say, you're allowed to come in here. You're allowed to do whatever you want. The child doesn't want to hurt anybody. That's the adult who lives in fear, judgment, shame, the institutionalized adult. Oh, that's not why.
We're having
Why
fun.
do you think we're all
out there.
here? Because we don't want that. We don't want to be told what we have to be. It's fine to have your belief system. Don't worry about what we're celebrating. I don't know why it would upset you.
Exactly, because like I was saying, that, because you got these adult fans that people don't really bat an eye to as adults into something that's made for kids, but mentioning like, something like My Little Pony, or for someone like me who's into Thomas the Tank Engine, and it's like, oh, now I have standards!
And do you know how many cross fandom, like, you know, in Europe, Thomas the Tank is huge. You've got so many, they all, if you look at it, the energy of it is looking for heroes. And here's the deal with you, we don't think we're heroes.
Yeah.
We're the heroes, we're the sheroes. We're it. They're not characters outside us. We're it. And we have the power to love everyone. That's our power, and it is mighty to be able to go, yay, I love you, I'm gonna hug you. You're worthy, you're heroes and sheroes, but we don't think that we're all shy, kind of, you know, it doesn't matter if you're shy. Your hero's a shy hero, I don't care. You're still a hero.
It's like, well, it's kind of a different thing. You guys are like, this is kind of how what I believe it's kind of like in the Bible, like God shows like David to fight, like David and Noah to fight people. They're like, I can't do this. I'm too small. I can't do that. It's like, you can do this, and they won. They overcame their fears.
And that's one of the greatest. I mean, there's so many great lessons. You know, the Bible, all of them, and all religions have phenomenal lore.
Yeah.
Do we figure it out? Do we love one another? Do we not judge all of the things that the good books say, whether you're Jewish or whether you're a Christian or whether you're Muslim or whether you're a Buddhist or whether you're exactly.
Yes.
And, you know, I just auditioned with my friends, Catholic damage of an institutionalized form that makes you feel like sin is, and this is not to blame, I was raised in, which is basically Catholic, except you can get divorced, but it's really regiment, right? And you live in fear of judging those.
Yeah.
All the Protestants are bad. Go throw, you know, the Protestants are bad, and I was a Protestant, and yet I went to the Catholic Church with all my Catholic friends who would take a fit when I take the hose because I wasn't the moniker Catholic. I say, but God, what? Can't I take the hose? Well, you have to, you're not a Catholic. I mean, but and this is where I would get, but I am sort of not. Isn't it the same thing? I believe in God, I believe in the Son of God, I believe in all of the Lord. Just like I believe in Muhammad, and I believe that stuff. And it's like, you can't do this because you're not worthy. You have to take penance. You have to get communion. So I'm like, well, watch me burst into flames. I go up, take the hose, turn around, look at my friends, and they're like, and then I go up to the priest and I go, look at my friends, saying I'm gonna burn in hell because I'm a Christian, but I'm not a Catholic. And I took the hose, and apparently, Father, please bless me. And priest is like laughing and doesn't laugh, does the whole blesses me, goes, you're fine just the way you are. I'm like, okay, so that rules don't apply. Yes.
I think like if you're raised buy into being a preacher, and I used to be evangelical, a thing that helped me is that because it's a hate that's very hard to let go of, it helps to reframe it.
Yeah.
And the beliefs and the rules and the love of other religions, even if they're not the religion you believe in, or even if they're incorrect about the magical stuff, these are the ideas to help and support each other that each culture came up with. It's the love and traditions, and we want our kids and our kids' kids to have these to support them and live by. So there is beauty and love in almost every religion because that's the reason they exist in the first place.
And the greatest amount of hate is also in, I mean, you wanna see judgment.
Against
you wanna
others.
see cruelty. It's unbelievable, it's, wait a minute, that is everything that your good book, it says shouldn't be happening. So it's like, I'm a Christian, but I'm judging so-and-so and so-and-so and hate on, like it's full on hate. And you go, why does someone else's choice offend you? This is where I don't understand. And then those who are the others, who are judged, feel like, I'm not living up to your standards. And it's like, you don't live up to anyone's standards but your own, except the world will judge you, right?
My mother was born and raised strict Catholic, like church every Sunday, whole 9 yards. She grew up in a big family, so I was also raised strict Catholic. And growing up, like seeing the LGBT community and seeing other religions, at least back then, Catholics perceived this as like, no, they're all wrong, and Catholic is the only right way to go. And when you're small, you know, you look up to that.
Right.
And you get confirmed, which when you are Catholic, you are committed, that basically means you're getting to be committed to that religion for the rest of your life. And this happened when I was in 8th grade, and I was 13 at the time. And I just followed what my parents said because I was that good kid. I was the virgin angel, like never rebelled a day in my life ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Did what my, exactly.
Come on in, pull up a chair, gang.
But when I was very little, I would, you know, go up to random strangers and start talking to people or hiding the clothes, you know, racks, 'cause that was fun. Okay, I thought so my parents also kind of shaped my individuality and just not let that shine. They, as you were describing it earlier, they were like shaping me into, and it wasn't just the school system, because I was bullied as well, but it was just shaping me into being like that perfect woman who gets dressed up at 6 a.m. and puts makeup and gets your hair done just to go to the airport.
One thing that I find fascinating, like at like such a young age, or kind of like indoctrinated to me, where like there's certain words that like I used when I was like 10 or whatever, just like the R word.
Yeah.
Well, I actually had a conversation with Forward only a couple of days ago that he didn't know that the term gypped is a slur. And it was one of those, like, we are taught that these words are okay without realizing or knowing the origins of the word.
Well, it's like everybody knows my story, that I was literally called the R word. As a child, that was my moniker, that I was retarded. And I have, you know, amidst all of this abuse that went along with my moniker, I was medicated, I had child psychologists my whole life. They said that I had to repeat kindergarten. Of course I'm on the spectrum, of course I am. And, I would have been diagnosed with autism. I mean, I used to display really, I've managed, I can control the level. I'm tired, those used to
Oh, like
start to go.
like masking?
I'll start to go, yeah. But that's okay. And they didn't know what to do with me, so they would literally give me Valium foods. I was put on Ritalin. I just wasn't the thing that was the kid what is wrong with the kid. And I was put in a harness. I was locked in the basement. I mean, that kind of stuff. So what that does to a child, you know, my parents didn't know. They were told by a system that this is going repeat kindergarten. You know, there were no special schools at that point. they convinced my parents not to let me commit to kindergarten, and then in grade 2, they want to skip me forward 2 grades. And then in grade 6, they wanted to skip me forward 2 grades, because I was really smart. My IQ was off the charts, but I didn't act, whatever that means. So that R word, right, it was like, that became the thing. This is what that represents. Look at her. That's what that is. And it's like the cruelest form of identification. You know, where that moniker, like you said, we're so not even used to the words that are said, and they're not even right. You know, and I've got a doctorate, you know, it's like, you cannot define anyone because they don't fit your standard. Because you don't fit what everyone's fear is. It's like, you're not like the one of these things is not like the other. And I would go so far as to say, I don't think anyone is like, they're wonderfully childlike wizards and wizardesses, like I said, heroes and sheroes, magicians, people, that are here to change through that kind of heightened celebration of self, where you're allowed to be exactly who you dream of being, who you play in your home. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and like what you were saying, we don't see ourselves as heroes because we see like Superman, Wonder Woman, we see those heroes. And that's what we compare, and we shouldn't compare because I have a habit of doing this. I'm still working on it. We compare because we think, oh, they're perfect, I have these issues, I'm imperfect. Like
We're a
that.
cartoon and we're human.
Yeah.
So we are here, spirits, having a human experience. Do you know that we use 3% of our brains and that 97%? Do you know what is going on in that magical part of our brain? Brian, that is our power. But our ego lives in the 3%, and the ego is afraid, and the ego goes, I don't like you because you need to be, and I don't. Listen, our spirit knows that all there is this mighty, mighty force that is what can heal us all. And when we authenticate ourselves, when we truly authenticate and say, I love you, they love me, I'm gonna jump up and down, jump up and down, jump up and down, throw glitter, and celebrate. I remove restriction. I remove fear. I go, I have friends. I don't, how many friends do I need? This band for me, like I said, has changed my life. I found it and I went, oh, wait a minute, this is, I could cry, I love this. That little, my childlike self, our word, who knew all of the magic, Bing Bong, who knew that magic, who knew it as a kid, and they were like, no, what you're seeing is you're dreaming, it's not real, stop that nonsense, stop that. And then I came here and I went, oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, you did, what were you gonna say, Rose?
Well, I was gonna go back to, a little bit to the, I was saying, when you were a kid, and, my kiddo, who is 14, is going to high school, or it just graduated to go to apparently, they would just said, apparently they just got an award for the President's Education Awards Program for outstanding academic achievement, and they came out to us as non-binary, ace, and polygender, and we're pretty sure like they're on the spectrum, and it's just like.
Exactly.
So that
Does it matter if you're on the spectrum? Which part of the spectrum? What spectrum? How big is it? What percent of the spectrum? Oh, is it that? Oh, is it the ADHD? Is it the ADD? Is it the autism? Is the what test? I have had so many tests in my life trying to figure out what I am. Why don't you just let me be what I am?
It's funny, though,
Instead of trying to define what I am.
your parents are never gonna like try to do that. They're always gonna be sticking to that stuff.
Yep.
That's why, like,
So yeah, even though I'm not part of the queer community, I see it too from what my preferences. So I'm still pissed off about this particular thing that's going on in my family right now. I'm not involved in it. I'm pissed off that my father. So basically, as of right now, my father, we're a Catholic family, deacon. He's trying to prevent my cousin from getting married to a Jewish.
No,
It's stupid.
I know.
Yeah, but that's a big Catholic
but
thing.
that's fear.
Married.
It's not, and so don't forget, they've been indoctrinated. Your family has been indoctrinated, so there's been chips, we've been impregnated with these where we think, that is good, that's not good. That's really not good. And it's fear, they go, you can't do that thing, because it's the sin, and bad things will happen to my child, and they actually don't understand. They actually don't understand, they just want a system that isn't.
Pull up and check.
So, yeah, the status quo. So most of my relatives, they have a status quo, but you have to do certain things, certain ways and
Of
whatnot.
course, oh, yeah.
They don't like the fact that I secretly got married and divorced. They don't like my dating preferences. They shame my queer relatives.
That's not good.
Our world is full of it. I hate to say this, but that your family is not.
And my parents, they really, at this point in my mind, they should have been divorced long time ago, but Catholicism won't let them.
Well, and look, this is how we live. You go and see this. This is where we are. If we keep all of this inside, this is a feelings war.
Yeah.
We don't share because we don't know what to say. And then you come to a convention and you go, love one another. And let's all come, and it's so liberating. Because we go, thank you. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, you just go, I feel free here. Well, I know, our experiences in conventions are that no one will be left behind. Come and join us. Come and be communicative. Come and share your feelings. And all of a sudden you go, I'm validated. Wait a minute, what? I can say this, and you go, I have secrets from my family. It's okay.
And there's some people, like, because of like so much negativity, when they come see like people who are like positive, like in this fandom, they're not used to it.
Well, why do you think there's certain people that want to, blow up the fandom? So I was at HarmonyCon and we had a bomb threat. Because they go, all the weird people are, let's get rid of those weird people. And you go, why would that even include you? Go have a good time however you have a good time. Why does it upset you? Well, they're afraid of the grand love. It doesn't make sense to them because it's exactly like Lily was talking about that, right?
Fear
They
and
don't
jealousy.
get it.
They're trying to solve it when it's inadequate.
Exactly,
They
right?
can't solve it.
Also, they think we're being possessed, so.
Exactly, they are actually afraid for us. They actually think we're
Afraid for
demonic.
people we interact with, that getting rid of us is.
You would think they would, I've been in this fandom for like 10 years, I've been in this fandom for 10 years, and people like who hated the fandom were like, oh, the fandom is gay, there are all this stuff. It's been going on for years, you would think they would stop.
Well, at one point, it's not like the fandom is the only queer, LGBT, whatever monikers they wanna use, they're gonna find, they need to go find it out and smother it. Because in their minds, we have to get rid of this because it's going to liberate too much of the thing we're afraid of.
A lot of times when people are confronting, when I'm talking about the fandom and they're confronting like, oh, isn't that for like little girls or whatever? I'd be like, okay, what are you into? And they'd be like, oh, I'm into anime. Sorry, I'm like kind of point directly at you. And they'd be like, oh, I'm into anime. I'll be like, okay, well the anime convention, and the anime community is stupid, and you guys are stupid.
Also-
How does that make you feel? And then they shut up right away, and I'm like, that's exactly like what you're doing.
Well, it's the
to
same
us.
as
Also-
furries, it's the same as all of them.
Exactly.
They're all gonna be judged.
And also in the fandom for anime, it's basically, they do go for little children, but some of the anime can be dark.
I mean, a bunch of it that is
Oh,
dark
yeah.
adults.
Thank you.
Some of my favorite pony stuff is stuff fall equestria stuff, which is.
Fallout Equestria for sure, there's darkness.
There is
I
a
mean,
panel that talks about handcuffing.
That's
Like,
tonight.
tonight.
Yeah, that's the very last one in the after dark stuff for tonight.
Yeah, and then we have the grim dark series, like, there's dark sides to every
But
fandom.
they only know from the outside, they're not in it. So it's like all judgment.
Yeah.
They look at it from an outside perspective because they're not a part of the lore, they're not a part of the celebration and the acceptance. So of course it becomes that weird poison tree over there. We have to cut it down. And you're like, there's a lot of trees out there that shouldn't be cut down anyway, but definitely not this one. I don't feel that we harm any. I don't see any harm in a convention. I've been to how many? I don't know, 30. And yeah, there's somebody, what if they did all of the guests and how many conventions they've done? I've done a lot. And I'm here to tell you, I love every single one. Do they have issues with things? Yeah, who cares? That's not the reason for going to a convention. The reason to come to a convention is to do this, to communicate with one another, to love one another, and to realize that you're perfect as the way you are. And when you can communicate the way that you do with each other, all of a sudden you're not afraid anymore. You're like, I love this because. Guess what? I love this because. I love this because.
Hi, this is my son, and we're new to this. My son is like my little one forever.
Yay!
I love it.
As a parent, this is a new territory, but I think of him as he's just one.
Love you, Mom.
And, you know, I've been down your route about where to place somebody who is just different.
Yeah.
I was sort of placed into elementary where people were blind, deaf, and cerebral palsy, everything, because they didn't know where to stick me, which I was developmental delay. And it was sad to see all my friends have these worse problems than what I had, but they didn't, back then, they didn't know where to stick me.
I know the feeling.
And it's sad to see that, but I want to just focus on him because it's his day. And he's been looking forward to this, and I'm so proud of him.
Is this your first convention?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Matthew.
Matthew? And what gave you the inclination to go, I want to go to a convention? What led you there?
So like a whole bunch of videos on YouTube of these crazy, conventions which are all amazing.
Yeah.
I just pretty much be a part of it, and here I am.
Well, fantastic, and you know, you'll get the bug, right? Once you do one, as we all know,
You can't go back.
you kind of go, wait a second,
There's more.
there's more. And it's just it literally is the community. It's the ponies that go, and you go, yes, I'm validated, and here you are, Matthew, and yay to you. We always, you know, it's like, have fun, do everything you can this weekend. As we're trying to arrange, we wanna go to there's a Midway, what is it called, the thing that you did with the security guard?
The park I broke into? I don't
He
know.
broke into the park, and a security guard took him around to all the fabulousness. I said, I wanna organize a bunch of ponies to go. We've got ice skating, we wanna go ice skating. You know, we're just gonna do some fun things off-site with ponies. So it's all, you know, obviously there's a lot of games going on and there's a lot of stuff going on the whole weekend. But this is where it literally feeds you until your next convention where you go, whoa, this is awesome. You'll make really great friends, you're gonna share your digits, you're gonna, you know, take pictures and go, woohoo, right? So that you as a pony, as a being, realize that every pony is onto something miraculous, which is the loving of self, which is there's a celebration in that. And if we can heighten this experience, maybe we can heal more people that don't understand what this is.
put that in context, by the way, I was playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, he was.
There was a reason in that park that I could not get back home, and I was like, I am jumping the fence because they're not keeping me from my Pokemon.
This is why we love you.
Exactly. And he's got a picture of the security guard driving him around in a golf cart, showing him all the stuff. I'm like, what is happening?
There's only Daisy here.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanna say, Mom, here, like, I applaud you for doing what you wanna do, because this is exactly
Love you.
what I wanna do when I have kids, because growing up sheltered, it sucks. And I wish my mom. I want my parents to understand that how much, not only my boyfriend changed me, but, which I hope he's my husband, there's like an ongoing thing right now that he still hasn't proposed, so it's pretty funny. They're always asking
It's
where
happening.
It's happening.
What's his name? I'll track him down.
Got
Let me know before we.
it. Got
He's
it.
got you.
I'm not gonna know.
I want a proposal on the final day.
But I wish my parents could be here to see that this community, this fandom, what I'm doing on Twitch, my boyfriend, like, just how much, like, that little kid where I was going around talking to random strangers and meeting people online, like, this is what it comes to, and it's not a dark side, it's not hate, you know, being shined by Catholicism. That's why I stopped going to church and I'm here all the time, because I am not.
This is your church.
I'm not judged here.
I've been agnostic for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I will raise my kids Catholic because I want them to know that like God is there to love you and serve and protect you, but I want to show them that side versus you need to hate every other religion and LGBTQ is the worst and all of this, but like I
Don't
want them
judge
to know
anybody, just no
that.
judgment. No
So I
judgment.
really applaud you for like raising.
We love you, Mom.
Thank you.
Matthew, I'm sure you love your mama. Yeah.
So please keep doing
And then
that.
we're good.
But just continue with what you were saying, because my parents, they were never into My Little Pony, but they are helping us out with this convention because this whole
Are
thing.
your
This,
parents helping with the convention?
I don't know what they're doing for this year, but I know they were helping us out last year. But this whole convention got started because my sister, who was one of our con-chairs, Marble Archer, she wanted to put this together something for us to do together when BronyCon closed down.
Nice. Shouts to them.
See, I mean, this is just, you know, create conventions, that's what I have to say. It's just why we're learning, right? Yeah, friend, you want it.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing got started because she wanted something for us to do together when what was our only real convention that we could go to closed down.
Thank you. What?
I need your boyfriend's name.
Gage.
Yeah, what is it?
Gage.
Where is he?
He's in Ohio right now.
Okay, Gage. Yeah.
He'll be at TROCON, so
You'll be at TriCon.
he will be at TROCON, and I will be at TROCON. I have a big surprise for TROCON, but I cannot say anything yet. Until they say something.
Oh, man.
First,
We're gonna talk.
I wanted to say, my mom is kind of the same like you. I have a learning disability, and people thought, oh, you're calling your daughter, she's gonna go this, she's gonna be that. My mom was not like that. She was fair with me. If I did something stupid, I'd be reprimanded, you know, like any type of regular child. And since the pandemic, and since I told her, she's supportive, she knows the show, she watched Generation 1, she hated it. And she watched the Gen 5, and she loved it, and she's supported me throughout the pandemic. She's like, yeah, you go on, do this. She's gotten me cute pony, what was it? Cute pony posters. She got me stickers, all that stuff. She got them for my birthday. She really supports me through all
Well,
this.
if you have a supportive family team, and many ponies that we've talked to don't, and that's okay, because they don't define you. But if, you know, it really helps when the people you love support you. It helps. You still gotta love yourself no matter what others feel. It has nothing to do with you. You love them because they're best they can with their limited information to actually care in their limited way.
I have a very bad memory, so I usually can't hold on to a thought in an order, so just a completely different point of acceptance. Since there is a mix of people here who are religious or secular, people for whom a diagnosis helped immensely or even saved them, and people for whom their diagnosis was a mark or a chain. Whatever religion you're in or not in, secular groups, psychologists, these are people who believe very often in what they're doing and they're
Right.
trying to help. So even if one of us speaks negatively about an experience we had with, say, religion or a psychologist, if it helps you, that is a person who cares about you. The things that are helping you, that help you, don't let go of just because of someone else's negative experience, and don't judge them or try to consider yourself right and them wrong, because what helped you didn't help you.
And I always say, find the lesson in everything. So if you can say thank you, yeah, difficult sometimes if it's physical abuse to say thank you, or if it's psychological abuse to say thank you, because I must have hurt you in another lifetime. So I say thank you for releasing me of my karma, because I must have done something equally bad to you. This is karma coming at me, so I say thank you for the lesson and you release me from that karma, which is a hard thing to do because you want to go, what is wrong with you? If we can find that non-judgment, it's exactly that, right? Yeah.
Kind of an example of that is, back in 2021, I was in a very dark place, so I experimented with drugs. And, weirdly enough, the drugs actually helped me a lot by, like, I had, one of my realizations I had was that I actually love myself. And, I haven't done those since, but it's like, ever since then, like, I've gone back to college, like, I'm a lot more positive, my internal dialogue is, like, way more positive, and it's just like, but I also realized that, like, I can't really recommend them to people because it's like, well, I had an incredibly positive experience that changed my life for the better. Other people, it might make them go into an even darker place.
Exactly.
That's
That's
say for the
exactly
joke,
right.
like, you can share us that recommendation, make us feel better.
And psychological medication can be the good side of that, because.
It's like any medication,
Yeah,
right? I mean, think about it. I've been on medication more than half my life. Well, what am I saying? I'm still on thyroid medication, all kinds of things.
Well, that's different, you need it for,
But, they'll tell you what you need, and you believe them, right? So I feel like if you experiment with anything, do a convention, eating certain foods, having certain amounts of vitamin D in your life, I don't know. You've got to experience it for yourself. Again, what works for me, work for, you know what I mean? But what you do want to try and do is relinquish any fear around judging yourself. Forget about the outside world. Deal with it. Literally go, what do I celebrate about myself? And when I teach, I ask my students that. They have a really hard time coming up with what their dreams are and what they celebrate about themselves. They can come up with why the negatives of why they are not where they want to be. But coming up with positives are not equal. And I said, burn those papers. You write down all of those things. They're not real. I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough. I'm too shy. Our ego will tell us all kinds of things. I'm not the right shape. I'm not the right size. I'm not the right gender. I'm not the right this. I'm write all that down and then burn that piece of paper. It's a ritual burning. Get rid of that. That is your ego keeping you stuck. Jump up and down, jump up and down, jump up and down every morning when you open your eyes, because you're at the top of the food chain. Yes, that's you are. You want to talk about religion right here. This is spirit. This is spirit rising. And if you can celebrate that incredible, powerful spirit, that we actually understand that bongs and magic, dipping one. You know, like, we get it, and then all of a sudden you go, bonk, bonk, I'm feeling little stones hit my head, I'm like, bonk, bonk, as I'm jumping up and down, and it's like, what's happening? You're creating an avalanche. So instead of climbing to the top of where everybody sees you as your perfect thing, you're bringing the top of the mountain to you. You don't have to climb up anywhere. You just stay right where you are, and you celebrate here and bring the top of the mountain to you, and you'll live a life of success with registration.
Also, when you said about the party and everything, long story short, my family, like me, my mom, and my brother, we were abused by my dad and, you know, family members and all that. And because of that, we had a lot of doubt. People said a lot of negative stuff about us. And 2 years ago, we wrote down pieces of paper about what people said about us, prayed, and we burned it. And as soon as we did that, we felt better. And the fire was like huge.
Well, and the other thing is, and like I write on my body all the time, and we were talking about this yesterday, words have power. And then what you say to yourself has power. And I write love, joy, you can write abundance, you can write, you know, whatever you want. But there's this Japanese scientist called Imoto, he took beakers of water in a controlled experiment, and he put words on those beakers of water, and he put love, joy, beauty, God, hate, lie, kill, Hitler. And then he left them for 2 weeks, and then he took a droplet from each of the beakers of water, and he looked at them under the microscope. And H2O has a chemical property, except that the droplet that he looked at that had God or love or sacred geometry, you can look it up, you can Google it, it's amazing. Prisms of light, they look like snowflakes, it was the most beautiful thing, and you're like, what is this? This isn't H2O, what am I looking at? And the hate, lie, kill were blobs, dark blobs. Well, the friendship is magic big ball, and we're talking about love, we're talking about hope, we're talking about celebration, we're talking about all these things. What do you think is happening? If I put words on my body, this body that is a sack of skin, bone, teeth, and hair is made up of almost 80% water. So if I have ponies and all the words that say friendship on my hat here, stuff like that, what do you think? You take on the sacred geometry of the word with which you're celebrating. You got tattooed love.
Don't lose your way.
Yeah. And the
Oh,
other,
my heart.
right?
Oh, I love that.
And the other one was on the other one. You have another, don't you have another chat?
Oh, this is my guy.
Right? Okay, I wasn't sure. Oh, it's somebody else I was looking at last night. And it's like you, I don't have tats, but I want tats. I just never have. But I write on my body every day. And it's just a little way to help you. Have faith in yourself, how to love yourself, how to literally change your energy. We're talking about how do we get to the place where we celebrate, that we actually love ourselves, that we actually go, no, it's like your epiphany moment. I love myself. Oh, I'm fabulous. Oh, I'm a wizardess. I'm a hero shiro. I'm a magician. We don't do that. We go, no, I'm doing okay. I'm something, not quite where I want to be, whatever. No, you're bigger than big. You are the rainbow. Like, that sounds so kind of coy, but it's true. We're the rainbow. You're looking at it. Look around this fabulous little group. We're the rainbow. We're it. So if we shine our light out there without fear, guess what? Haters will hate. You can't change them. Remember, haters were lovers at one point, and then they were hurt, and they got afraid. So everybody that judges us, something happened to them. Bullies weren't always bullies. Something happened, something went in, because we're all spirit, we're good. And, you know, incident, formulation, institutionalization, makes you go.
I think some of them are jealous too of what
Of course they are.
we have.
Well, they don't like that freedom.
I was
Who
about to
gave
say-
you the right to be free?
In my case,
Yeah, in general, I think a lot of the issues that people have with, you know, fandoms has nothing to do with fandoms. You know, 60 years of psychological programming.
Exactly.
You
Programming.
know, you watch the news, this happened, this happened, this happened,
Yes.
and they breed fear in us, cause like I've traveled abroad, and like people in other countries are nothing like Americans. Like Americans, you walk past them on the street, you say, hey, how you doing? Which I was raised to do, just fucking polite,
Yeah.
you know, and no one does that though. You never get that reciprocated, you say hi to somebody.
Well, it's also so you go to somebody's house for help and they'll shoot you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, what?
Well, but there's a reason for that though, because a lot of people prey on people by playing victim, you know, it's just, we've got such a sick society, and it's sick because of like how fearful they make people. And so, you know, you don't generally, like having healthy practices takes a lot of courage, period. You know, and like, especially for someone like me, because like, my childhood was like horrifying. Like, not gonna talk about it for 3 hours, but like short version. Got took from my parents were abusive, thrown into a state home down in Florida. The staff literally tortured and murdered kids to death. Like, I should not be here alive today. And so like, for me, 2.5 years trapped inside of a prison camp that is really and truly, like, people say, oh, this place is awful, like they go to the mental hospital, and this is like a concentration camp, there's so much shit. I've heard that before. I'm like, and I've heard that like being in the mental hospital after the fact, getting treatment for that. Actually, I'm like, no, this is nothing like a concentration camp, but I do know the place. You know, and so like coming from that kind of environment, like integrating back into society, it's like being a veteran that comes back from war. It's like, oh, this is normal. You know, so having healthy practices, like to be able to be outward and walk past someone like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know, just like normal human being, eye twitch. It's
Like
hard.
you can do it here, like you can really do it here, right?
You know, so like I'm not really somebody that's like into the show, but like I love the people here, man.
Right.
I just do, and like, you know, and I'm really here helping the friends. I didn't just like.
And last year,
I gotta
too.
get out there, yeah. But
Yeah.
I love being here though, like, it's never a bad time,
And people,
you know?
and people said, oh, when the episodes are gone, the fandom's dead. No, if anything, they're
Hell no.
better than ever.
Hell no.
It's the people that help the community more than the show.
It's the community, that's what it is. They've got a like mind. So, what's the institutionalization here? A show about homies.
Friendship.
And
And that's big bump.
big bump, okay? And that threatens people. Friendship is magic for
Big
exactly
bump.
what you just said. Exactly what you just said. Fuck, you talking to me? Talk to me. You're like, whoa. Cause my family are all farmers, right? So, you know, they talk to everybody, doors are open, you know, you talk to everybody. My father talks to you can't get anywhere. You know, all the homeless people who sit down on the road with him, because when I'm a child, he says, you give word to that man, you'll learn more from that man than you will from anybody else. You know, I was a little 3.5, I'm very precocious, he's smart. You know, and he's on the road and he's homeless and he's peed his pants and I'm like, looking at him like a kid and I'm like, I love the guy, I'm a kid. I don't know who he is, he's just a man. Here, and he talks to me, God bless you, and blah, 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 and I think he's a lovely man. I don't know there's something wrong with him. According to society, which is why the child doesn't leave us. It gets squelched, it goes, get the hell into that box. Pop goes to the mention, and out we come, right? But for the most part, we are like, oink, oink. I'm just gonna sit here and wiggle on my phone, I'm gonna just talk to me by myself, I'm just gonna kind of, not here, it doesn't work like that. It's exactly what you said, you get, how you doing? You're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, 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 awesome. Everything is awesome, but it was positive. Yeah. Right, but it is that, and you know, know, if we can remember that if we can remember that we actually are spirit, we're not human. I know we might think that we're ponies right now. Listen, we're spirit. Spirit is bigger than anything ever imagined. We are mighty, we are powerful, we are loving, we are pure, we are healing, we are everything that could ever be imagined. And yet we won't give ourselves that applause. We just won't do it.
I did want to say that starting this whole forum, you were saying that Forward Progress does such a good job about putting himself out there, and he's a really great leader of starting these things, but you honestly, like, didn't give yourself any credit. Like, you started this, it grew, literally.
Well, and you know, I forget what episode in season 7.
It
the
was
Healings
a,
Forum.
I think it was
It was about,
Thor. It was called, change.
how to change and change. How to
Yeah.
change, so I played the Feelings Forum, Timble.
Yeah.
And she's like this hippie pony, you know,
Yeah.
and she's like trying to get everybody
I
to
hear
calm
it.
down.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's on your shirt.
She's on my shirt.
No, your shirt.
Oh, yes.
She is?
Right here.
Oh my gosh, there she is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm taking a picture of that. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Look at you
yeah,
both.
yeah.
But you know, the wonderful thing about that forum was like she screams. At one point, she's like, ah! Because at one point, everybody's fighting and freaking out. She's trying to get everybody to calm down,
Yeah.
calm down. And I understand the feelings forum. Everybody has feelings about what's his face in that episode. He's being, you know,
Thoras.
he's disgusting, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Why is he so hateful? And so
Terrence.
I played another character where I
No, no,
got
no,
black
Terrence,
thrown in my
Terrence.
face in that same episode.
Thoras.
Thoras.
No, Pharynx.
Oh, Pharynx, sorry, it was Pharynx.
I completely forgot who it was. I have been so long expecting that episode.
And it's a really good one because, you know, he's such a brat, you know, like he's really bratty and misbehaved, but it's only because he's not understood and you end up loving him in the end after at the end of the episode, right?
Yeah, it's also what's so great about it is you can understand the reasoning behind both sides, like both from Pharynx's side and also from the sides of the changelings who all reformed.
And what are changelings? Like, come on, there's the changelings,
Yeah,
changelings, so you're like, you're a changeling, okay? So it's that too.
Yeah, so you see what's right and wrong from both sides. That's why I feel like it's not one side's the right, one side's the wrong. It's like not like black and white, but like gray colored storytelling, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That's really what there's like, what he said, he wasn't 100% wrong.
He wasn't, and he was just misunderstood. Nobody was really looking into why he was frustrated and angry and acting out. Because he's, you know, and you can look into, oh my God, the finale of season 7, you want to talk about, you know, people that went to the dark side, police that went to the dark side, what they were fighting for.
Oh yeah.
You know, when the pillars came in and the fight to, you know, and then you realize he's trapped inside that anger. He's trapped inside of that, and they released him from it, and he was.
I find it funny. I find it ironic that episode with Stygian, where he's but basically, Star Scroll and the Pillars took the credit from him for bringing them all together. I find that ironic because that came out like a couple months before 2018, when those who I looked up to in this fandom kind of like, well, our irritation gone.
Well, and what are pillars? What are the pillars?
They're the heroes. They're the gods.
Well, are not the main 6 heroes too?
Yeah.
So we look at this, where you go, the pillars are the lore of the Catholics, the Jews,
Oh, yeah.
the Muslims. So they are the high spiritual lore. If we look at it that way, that can be misconstrued. Look at all of the elements. Look at who they align with. Of course, I was with Tabitha,
Yeah.
which I find fascinating. It's just insane that my best friend, I'm aligned with her in the show as the, you know, give me a break. That's just, I can't make this stuff up. Like that is where the magic. Right? So if we can remember that all of these stories that we tell one another, all of them, make sure that we tell ourselves the good stories. We remind ourselves that we are exactly the energy that brings us all together. We're it. We are the core values. We are all the pillars. We are all of the characters. We are all of them. We know the episodes. They are us. Our friendship is magic.
Big Mom.
Right? And we've got to remember that. And hopefully, you can carry this with you throughout the weekend and beyond. It will help you shed that light on others who may be in darkness, who may not. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, what if I wear my little pony coat and stuff and people scream at me in the airport? They're like, what's the pony? Like everybody's like, oh my gosh, I love your coat. What is that? I'm like, oh, it's my little pony. Oh, what's that? I'm like, and you've got people that go, oh, I love it, because they meet you. And they go, you're just so colorful. You're just so something, right? And then all of a sudden it's not so scary anymore. It's just like, I love it. I actually love it. The next thing I know, they're at a convention. So go forth, carry the torch. There's a lot of stuff happening this weekend, guys. We will be announcing any of our extracurricular activities, but also know that we are gonna share the movie on the last day. It's not on your book, so after closing ceremonies, what will we do?
I'm just going to find that out because last I checked, it was
I
gonna be.
mean, there's a screen here, so I'm thinking it might be, I think we did it your last one.
No, actually, last year we did it in the medical room when that was over.
Cause you could just have a.
But we did it in a TV, we did it, but if we've got a screen here, maybe we can do it here.
I remember last year we did it in one of the hotel rooms.
We were in a hotel room, cause I got people helped me set up all the candy and chips and pop and all
That was
that.
awesome.
It was like, what's up, we're gonna go.
Staff room again this year or no?
This is something we need to find out, but, you know, come, because if you like the movie, we sing songs and we scream out lines from the show, and it's just another way to sit with people, eat junk food, and sing songs, and actually go, I love the message of this. I just love it. It's awesome. And everything is awesome. I can love it. Wee, baby. I love you all. Can I get a picture of everybody?
Oh, sure.
How, everybody coming around here, a group photo.
Oh yeah, what movie is it, the 2017?
It's the 20, it's the most
Is it
recent
this
one.
one
Oh,
or
New Generation, okay.
No, it's not,
It's
it's
Gen
the,
five.
it's not, it's the.
It's the
Sunny
new
and
generation.
Deb and all those.
It's the new generation movie that kicked off.
Which I play Grandma Figgy in.
What
That was
the one. Oh,
We have masks
Yes, mask off, all get cute like you love one another, and I'm gonna get this stuff in the front.
Wait, how are we gonna?
I don't know, I'll just
I
go
can
grab
take
it.
it.
No, right, you need to be.
Well, how are we gonna take it?
Well,
I'd love to be in it. Wait, how are you? But you need to be. Oh,
I
I
did
did
not
not.
mean to throw my mask in the phone.
That's okay.
On the back,
Well,
or in
how-
front.
Yes, I'm gonna get something.
You take two, I'll take one, and you take
Or I can
one.
also just like.
I got somebody.
I can text you.
I need somebody to take a picture.
Storm, come here.
Okay.
Help us take
Yeah,
pictures.
just wanna take a picture of us. Come in, Rob,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Everybody get in close. Get in here, Sam and Pooh. Sam and Pooh.
You guys wanna come in?
All right, ready? Bing bong!
Bing bong! I love you guys. So awesome.
I should have said magic for a minute.
Oh, bing bong, bing bong!
You don't like cartoons?
Bing bong, bing bong!
Bingy bongy.
Biggie bing bongy.
Bingy bing bong bong.
Oh my
Alright, got
God,
it.
so cute.
Front door.
I wanna go over here.
So, I guess it works out.
That was a nice one.
And with that, maybe there's a adjourn.
This is such a small pot, I was like, holy crap.
Gotcha, yeah, V8 Energy?
Maybe another one of those.
Sure, I can do both. V8 Energy probably the best.
What time is it? Oh, it's 10.
You did it, guys, that yours on my.
Something else I was gonna do.
Yes, absolutely.
Need help?
Yes, yes.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I have a. Oh, there's a thing. I gotta ask you something.
Oh, shit.
What kind of?
I got 206, 206. I need to get an Ikea, let me know.
206? Who's in charge of a convention? Are you gonna do like the charity auction?
Oh gosh, Forward's gonna do the charity auction.
Oh dear.
Um,
Because I have kind of like a silly. Well, I put something in. Basically, I was gonna see if people could write on a mayonnaise jar that has mayonnaise in it, just so I could hear the bing bongs. Is that fine?
oh yeah, of course.
Okay, I brought mayonnaise with me too.
It's funny because we also brought it.
You did?
We bought are you familiar with Cards Against Humanity?
Yes.
They have a thing called Clamonaise,
Oh
where
my
it's a pack of cards in a thing of mayonnaise.
Oh my god. Awesome.
So we will have all of the mayonnaise.
Yeah, bing bong.
Hang out this weekend, we're gonna do a bunch of fun stuff.
But yeah, I'm gonna go
see
get with
and stuff
Kajinka
like
and
that.
figure out what's going on with
Yeah,
that.
because keep just
With,
keep
for the
hanging around, see
MIA.
what's happening, 'cause we're
Right.
announcing as we go.
Right, I'll have the mayonnaise and I'll have like a marker in case like some people want to draw right on it.
Hooray. Okay.
Yeah.
Eighth grade trip we went on yet.
Awesome. Yeah, do you mind if I look at your thing?
Oh, sure.
Like what's next? Because I don't remember.
I have no idea what, I mean, because I'm trying to work out for both Ellie and Brian now. Because I don't think there's anything in here, it also the friendship, that's one that Blue Star Bernie's doing.
Okay.
There's the enamel pin and trade swap, which is in here.
Okay.
There's a lunch break, and then Ellie and Brian have their autograph sessions right here.
Okay, I'm gonna be there for them. I want them to sign my flag.
Right, and I'm also trying to see if I can get Brian to sign my copy of Legend of Everfree.
Nice.
I don't think there's anything, but I know that my friend Kevin is doing this Let's Make a My Little Deal. I really wanted to be there for that, but of course, being with Ellie for the weekend, I don't know if I can.
Right, you're a bodyguard.
Yeah, and then there's the sponsor dinner. I don't know for sure what's going on for the rest of the day after the sponsor dinner. I know that you're doing the pros and cons of online conventions, right?
Yeah. And then after that, I gotta rush down to go to play my set.
Hey, best wishes to you.
Thanks, man.
Find the kids in there.
It should be under Ellie Ray, Syphilitis. I don't know if they're under Syphilitis or NC, I have no idea. But just say she's a guest, and she's in 206, and you're security, so they're gonna like.
Do you want to red
Give out the key.
Huh?
She said,
Do you want to red lunch?
That's what I was actually just talking about. That.
All right, I'm gonna go to lunch.
Oops, before you go, I had to give my book to Crackle's cousin. I wanted to get your thing. And then get your autograph. Again.
Sure.
It's alright, it's just while we were back there for opening ceremonies, I had to get my book.